Happy holidays, everyone. We're demonstrating how to create amazing looking vector style Christmas ornaments that you can hang anywhere. And these graphics that you see on your screen right now are the exact finished product of what you'll be learning how to create. This is the exact ornament that I finished up with. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope you guys have a very merry holiday, and I might do some more Christmassy type theme tutorials before Christmas comes. Who knows? Maybe. Alright, let's create a new fireworks document. And I'm going to make mine about, maybe 800 wide and 500 high. And you can make yours any size and resolution you need. You can work at any size and resolution you want. And I'm going to set my canvas to a very dark red. So I'll click this red here, and I'll just bring down this slider right about there. Now the first thing we're going to do is drag out. If you have the rectangle selected there, you just hold that down and you'll see you can drag out a donut. We're going to create the little loop that the ornament would dangle from, where it would hang from. So we can just hold shift and draw out a perfectly round donut, and then we can bring that in a little bit. Actually, let's go ahead and resize this. Make mine as small as it needs to be. About right there. I'm going to zoom in on it, and I can grab this little inner radius dialer right there and move it out to get the exact size I need. And to control, you press control and mouse wheel to zoom in and out in your scene, okay? Or into your canvas. So there's your little loop, and you can go ahead and add a bevel effect or a bevel filter to that inner bevel. And that gives it a more realistic 3D look with shines coming from this direction and shadows on the other side. Now we'll go ahead and click the rectangle tool and draw out a rectangle. Now this little guy here is going to be, let's give that a gradient fill of satin. That'll give me the look I want. I'll click down on the satin here, and where it's white, I'm going to change that to a very dark gold color or yellow. Right about there. That might even be a little too much. Right there is good. And now I'm going to zoom in on that object by holding control and mouse wheeling. And I can manipulate that. I just want one of those little arcs in there, like that. I'm going to highlight it, select filters here, and I'm going to give it a, let's see, inner shadow. And I want the inner shadow to be white. And I want it to come from the top. I'm going to make sure it's 270 here, coming from the direct top. I'm going to bring this down to about 2 for the softness on it, and bring this down to 2 as well. Now I'm going to drag out an ellipse. I'm going to hold shift down to make sure it stays even, and that 300 by 300 looks good to me right there. I'm going to make sure it's centered, bring it up a little bit to right about there, and I'm going to go and change the fill, the gradient to a radial. I'm going to change the colors on that to the bright red here, and then a very dark red here. Oh, I'm sorry. Switch those. Dark red on the other side. There we go. Now let's take this in the center and move that. I'm going to make the dark red a little bit lighter because we want it to be a little bit lighter than the background. That looks good to me. And you can position this anywhere you need to. Now we're going to give that an inner glow, just for a little lighting effect on the other side. Inner glow of the bright red, and we're going to soften it up a little bit more. Bring this in to about 6, and then bring the opacity way down, maybe even less. Right there looks good to me. Even a little less for a very, very subtle effect. And if you want to put really glossy shines on there, you can just draw in some white shapes. That would be a glossy type effect on there. But I don't want mine too glossy. I want mine to be kind of like a matte finish, and then I'm going to put like gold fleck type designs on it, Christmassy designs. Now here's where you can get really creative, and what I'm going to do is drag out the text tool, and I'm just going to type in QWERTYUIOP, the whole top line. And you can see that I'm using a dingbat font. Let me go ahead and shrink that down so you can see all of them. It's a dingbat font, and I want to get to the uppercase, and this is really handy to use dingbat fonts. You need a quick little dingbat to supplement for something you don't want to really draw it out from scratch, this is a good thing to do. So you can use fonts, and I'm going to show you how to change the font to actual paths and graphics that you can work with. Okay, so let's press caps lock, and I'm using Car Xmas Dingbats if you want to get the same font that I'm using. Car Xmas Dingbats. And now I'm going to type in QWERTY. I'm looking for that horse. That's what I wanted. It's the Y. Caps lock Y for that little horse right there. I'm going to bring the size of the horse up, and I'm going to make sure it's yellow or gold to match that gold up top. Really, you can make it any colors you want for any color scheme that you're going for. Now 96 isn't big enough, so I'm going to go about 240. See what that does. That's really good. I like that. Maybe not so big. Maybe 220. There we go. So let's change that text character now to a path graphic that we can work with. That'll be a native graphics in Fireworks that we can do anything we want with. So I'm going to go to text. With it selected, I'm going to go to text, convert to paths, and then you'll see it gives me a group of the paths. So I'm just going to press Control Shift G to ungroup it, and there's my native path. And you can see, if you wanted to, you can go in here and grab each point and move it around like so. See? Now I have an antelope. You know, I'm just showing you that you can really work with it now and make it your own if you wanted to use Dingbats fonts for specialized graphics and illustrations. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is make that a little bit less wide, because it's going to appear like it's plastered onto a round surface. So I don't want it to be a normal view. I just want it to be a little less wide than normal. So let's place it right there. I'm going to press Control C, Control V. I'm going to place another right here. Okay, now let's go ahead and draw out a donut, because we're going to use the donut now to punch out those paths that are the horses. So I'm going to hold Shift as I draw this donut so it punches them out correctly. Get it in the center again, move the inner radius to where it wraps right around that inner sphere there. Now with that selected, I'm going to change that to maybe green or whatever. I'm going to press Control C, Control V. So now I have two of those. I just made a copy, but don't move it. What you're going to do is select the first horse and the first donut, the one on top, and then go to Modify, Combine Paths, and Punch. Then you're going to select this horse and this donut, Modify, Combine Paths, and Punch. So that effectively wraps that around for you, and then you can grab both of those together, go down to Grain, or Texture rather, and make sure you choose Grain or whatever one you want, but I'm going to make like a gold fleck looking effect. So I'm going to bring it down to about 37, 30, whatever, in the 30s. Select Transparent, and let's go ahead and mess with this number and see how we can make it look best here. I like it right at about 30. So that makes it look like my little horsies on there. Have it like a gold fleck pasted on, glued on gold fleck kind of look to it, okay? Let's go to our shape and grab a star. Drag out the star while holding Shift to keep everything even. And I'm going to make the points on this one only 4 points. I'm going to drag in the radius, and if you have to zoom in, go ahead and zoom in by holding Control and mouse wheeling. I'm going to get it to about that look right there, and on the solid fill I'm going to change that to a gradient of radial, and in the center it's white, and the outer edge I'm going to make it white, and that one I'm going to bring the opacity down. I'm going to make sure this has no grain on it, no texture. Okay, so you see what you got there? Now highlight that, press Control C, Control V. You can select the Scale tool, that way you'll have access to rotate the object. So let's rotate this one 45 degrees like that, and then we can highlight that with the pointer tool, and we'll have the radius options again. Bring that down a little bit, and there you go. It's a nice Christmassy shine star effect. And we'll add one last little thing to it. Let's add an ellipse to the top, right about like that. And this one we're going to make a solid white. Position it in the center of that star the best we can, right about there. It's good enough. And then we'll go to Filters, Blur, Gaussian Blur. However you pronounce that, I don't know, I don't care. Okay, so then you'll be left with something a little like that. And then what I'm going to do is highlight those items all together. And I can drag them around wherever I need to. Put that one over there, press Ctrl C, Ctrl V to make a copy of that. And then go to Modify, flatten that selection. I'm going to leave that one there in case I want to change it up. And this one I'm going to blur just a little bit. Watch. Go to Gaussian blur, and you don't want to have it so blurred, just a touch, just to take those hard edges off right there. Then I'm going to take that and position it right there. I'm going to bring down the size of it, scale it down a little bit. Okay, now you can just take little gold balls and make a chain. So you can highlight all of those items. Let's drag this down a little bit, right about there. And I'm going to draw out little ellipse, make it solid gold, and then give it a bevel, inner bevel of smooth. Bring it all the way up, bring that all the way up, and that all the way up, and that'll give you a nice beveled looking little bead. Then you can just put that there and make others, make a whole bunch, stack them right on top of each other like that. Then you can grab a bunch as you go, however many you need to make your chain, as long as you need it to be. Just get rid of that last one on top, and let's grab this thing, Control C, Control V, make it smaller, bring it to front, scale it, and there you go. We'll put this somewhere over there. Okay, and you can even take another little one, see, since this is gold fleck, and you can make some little tiny shines on the gold fleck if you want. Alright, so there you have it. Beautiful vector Christmas ornaments that you can customize.